Hello everyone, my name is Rishi, and in today's video we're going to be improving our previous chatbot program to make it more honest. So let's start programming. In today's video, I'm going to be using the code that we have used in the previous video, and you can find the link for that in the description. So now let's start importing the new stuff that we need for our new program. So instead of from Langchain.llms, we're going to import Langchain chat models. And then instead of OpenAI, we're just going to do chat OpenAI. And now once you have chat models, now we're going to also do from Langchain dot schema. We're going to import the system message, which is basically the message that the system is going to send to the user, as well as the human message. And now once we're done with this, now we're going to move on with our model name. So for our model name, we're not going to be using text DaVinci 003 anymore, because in this program we're going to be using v1 chat completion endpoints. However, text DaVinci is just a regular completion model which is not able to support the chat conversation. So instead of text DaVinci 003, we're just going to be using GPT 3.5 Turbo. And now once we're done with this, we're going to just keep our OpenAI key the same, and we're just also going to be including the system prompt. So basically what a system prompt is a multi-level string which defines the introduction message to the assistant before each user's query. And the purpose of this is that we can customize the behavior of the language model based on the use case. And so for this, I'm just going to copy the system prompt that I already have here just to save time. And then the system prompt is going to be this. So you're a helpful assistant that truthfully responds to a user's query or question. If you don't know the answer, simply answer, "I don't know." Most importantly, don't respond with false information. So now once we're done with our system prompt, now we're going to move to the Chainlit onMessage function. So over here, we're just going to have the main function, and I'm just going to clear this because we're going to be changing most of this. And you can just keep this Chainlit onMessage onStart the same because we're not going to be changing that. So in this function, we're going to be separating the roles of the system as well as the user. So first, in order to do that, we're just going to do messages is equal to, and in this, we're going to have a square brackets, and we're going to separate the roles of, so we're going to be separating the roles of the system. And then the content of that is just going to be the system prompt. And then for this, we're also going to be including another role, and then the role for this one is just going to be, the role for this is just going to be the user. I'm just going to keep maintain consistency and try to include single quotations. And then for this, we're just going to do the content of this is just basically going to be the query. And then once we have this, now as you can see over here, we haven't initialized the query, and that's just going to be one of the parameters that we set over here. And then we're going to set the query to the string. And now once we have that, we're just going to be closing this off. And now we're going to do we're just going to initialize our response text from the chat model as just the empty string. And now once you have done that, now we're going to do a try exception. And in this, we're just going to do, first we're going to try responding to the user. However, if we don't know the answer to it, we're just going to simply we're going to set the response text to no response, or I don't know what the answer is. So we're going to do try and then chat. The chat is equal to chat OpenAI. And in this, we're going to set the temperature. As mentioned in the previous video, temperature is just how mild you want the response from the assistant to be. And I just want it to be like least harsh to the user. And now we're going to set that to the model name. And now once we have that, we're going to just set the response And then the response for this is just going to be the chat.predict messages. And then for this, we're just going to include the system message, which is the content of that is going to be the system prompt. And then we're also going to have the human message. And then the content for that is just going to be the query, which we're going to be sending. And now once we're done with the try, we're just going to do the accept. And then the accept is going to be the exception as E. And once we have that, we're just going to do the response text. And we're just going to simply state that as a formatted string, we're just going to have no response. And then we're just going to do in curly braces as E. And now once we're done with the exception, now we're just going to finally just do the async.cio run. So we're just going to do .run. And for this, we're just going to do the chainlit message. And we're just going to do the content is going to be the response text. It's not going to be response, but response text. And then we're going to do send. And now once we have that, we have completed the code and we can start running it on the terminal. So now since we're done writing the code, now we're going to test our program, and we're just going to do it by chainlit run chatbot.py. And then as you can see over here, our chatbot program is opened, and now we're going to ask it two types of questions. So the first question is going to be a simple query which the chatbot should be able to answer. So we're just going to be asking who is Bill Gates, and based on that is just going to give us the response who is Bill Gates. And now we're going to ask it another question which it should not be able to answer or just give a it doesn't have access to. So we're going to ask, what is the weather in New York? So since these chat models don't have access to outside tools, it shouldn't be able to answer this question. So what is the weather in New York? And it's just going to give the response that I don't know the answer for that. So now once we're done with this, now we're also going to be testing whether the text DaVinci doesn't work. So we're going to do first try text DaVinci 003. And now we're just going to be running the program again by saving it. And we're just going to run it as chainlit run chatbot.py. And as you can see over here, and now once we ask it a question like, what is the weather in New York? Then it'll just give us like a error message saying that this is not a chat model and thus is not supported by v1 chat completion endpoint. And did you mean to use the v1 completion? Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.